Hello everyone, thank you for watching Mad Trucks with Marcos. Today we have another low center of gravity package for you. This one is on a 2017 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and it is the Recon Edition. So we've done a couple of the Recons before. This is the first Jeep that we've built in the Rhino Clearcoat, which is an awesome color. So we're gonna go ahead and check out what we've done to it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can view any of our custom truck inventory at kunescountrytrucks.com. Alrighty folks, so like I mentioned, it is a 2017 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon, and it is the Recon Edition. So right away, right off the bat, the Recon Edition, it gives you a few different things. Visually, you get the cool decals on the hood. And I like them a lot because it actually, you don't notice it right away, but it's got the Dana 44 listed on there. It's got the torque horsepower, the gear ratio, you know, the Dana track. It's got all that stuff kind of listed out there for it. I know it does have different diff covers on it. A few other things. We noticed some stuff on the bottom of the fuse box that was different when we were doing the inner fender liners, so I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, the Recon Edition, you do get the red stitching and the red seat belts inside, which are a really nice touch. They look really cool when you put the windows down. So this is actually the factory bumper that the Recon came with. What we did is we went in and we just removed the end caps off it. As you can see, the bumper is made to be, you know, used without the end caps on it or with the end caps on it. It's a really cool thing that comes on a lot of the Rubicons, and especially like on this one on the Recon Edition. You get that. So you pull it off, and then just to give it a finished look, and so we don't lose all the screws, we just put the screws all back in. I think there's like 8 of them for each cap. So just put all the screws back in, and then it doesn't look like somebody just tore the end off it. So it is made to be like that. It works really well, leaves the fog lamps there on the end. So one thing that does is it's gonna give us the clearance to fit that 35-inch tire. And then the other thing, just looking at it from the front, I think it really gives it a nice aggressive look. I really like when you can see the full width of that front tire without any obstructions. So you do get just a little bit more of an aggressive look. And again, we would have had to do that anyway for the clearance on this wheel and tire package. The grill, this is another thing that's factory on the Recon, but it did end up working really well because it already has the black accents on the hood. It's got the black fender flares on it, the rock rails. So it kind of ties everything together really nice. And then I did mention this is the first time we had done a Rhino Jeep, and really like this color. It's nice because so many of these colors now on pretty much all the cars have all kinds of metallic flake in them, and they're pearlescent colors and all that good stuff. But to just see a really nice color without that, you know, metal flake in it, just a nice color. Sometimes understated is the best, and I think that's the thing with this Jeep. It doesn't really, the color doesn't like draw a lot of attention right away, but once you start looking at it, it's like, man, that's a really good looking color. And I think that's why a lot of people buy it. It's still a really cool, nice, unique color, but it's not like orange or mango or whatever those crazy colors were. So you can still have something different without having to have something that sticks out like a sore thumb. So yeah, really excited to do that. So we'll talk about the flares, the fender flares. So this one, Bushwhacker, just recently came out with their aluminum fender flares. And the reason we went with these is we wanted to try them out because we do really like the finish that it has on there. If you compare this finish to the finish on the front bumper, and especially like you can see the finish on this decal, it actually, I mean, it matches pretty perfectly. So we really like that. It does have the hole built in right in for the side marker light into the flares, so we don't have to drill into the inner fender liner. There are other companies that have done the light, but a lot of them, they have it on the side of this tube here for the flare. So they'd have like a light here, which to me, I like having this nice clean look and then having the light in there. So it's still gonna be safe if someone's coming at you from the side, but we don't have to mess with the looks of the fender. So like I said, that is from Bushwhacker. Really excited about it. We like it a lot. Did install differently than some of the other ones. It does have a couple supporting brackets, which is nice because these are really, really sturdy on there when they're on, but it was a few extra steps to install them. So if you're installing them yourself, you know, in your garage type of thing, might not be the best option for you. There are some other ones that are a little closer to bolt on than these are, but nonetheless, it's a super nice flare. I have really nothing bad to say about them. For the inner fender liner, we also tried something new. This is a Fishbone inner fender liner. The reason I ended up going with this is because I recently saw that they came out with a set for the front and rear. So when we get to the back, I'll show you the rear fender liner. But it's very similar to the Ace Engineering one that we have been doing. Again, we did have a little problem on fitment on, I believe it was the driver's side, but I think that's something that's specific to the Recon. I'm pretty sure it would have bolted directly up to any of the other ones, just like this passenger side one did. But the fuse box just sticked out a little more than what we're used to, and I'm sure what they were used to when they were doing the research and development for this. So I wouldn't say anything bad about them as a company. Just one of those things where you're doing custom aftermarket stuff, you're always gonna run into stuff like that. So just because the website says bolt on, you know, it's never, almost never the case. The wheels did bolt on. That is a bolt-on thing. So as far as wheels and tires, the wheels are a 20-inch, they're 20-inch by 10-inch fuel Triton, I believe. I think it's like a negative 24 back spacing, something like that. It's a 4.75 back spacing. But it's got the gloss black finish then with the milled accents. It's one of those things, I think the milled accents do brighten it up a little bit. There's not really much polish on this Jeep, but I mean, it is a Recon. So it's not like it's trying to completely go under the radar. So nice set of wheels. I think they dressed it up really nice. Got a good amount of lip, about a 4-inch lip on there, which is nice. They don't stick out too much, but they do stick out enough to where it makes the Jeep look a little wider. So they are wrapped in a general grabber. So this is their new X3 mud tire. And I was just talking to Matt on the way over, you know, love the Generals, but they haven't always been the quietest on the road. And we were driving over and, you know, you definitely could, I mean, you could barely hear the tires. If you roll the windows down and you're looking for it, I'm sure you'd notice it. But it's one of those things that it's not gonna be as good as a street tire, obviously, but for the mud tires go, I have no complaints about it. I haven't got to drive it in the winter yet. We're only a few months away from that, but overall, our first impressions on this tire, really good. It's been holding up really well. We have a few customers out on them now and they really like them. Since it is a low center of gravity, we did not touch the suspension on this one. Absolutely, we do offer a shock upgrade kit where we put some longer shocks in there and it actually is gonna give you a little bit more wheel travel, but most of our customers, that's not necessarily something they want. They kind of want to keep them stock, but if you buy one of these and you want to make it a true low center of gravity, you can definitely get the shock upgrade and the end links and get a little more wheel travel out of it. So these rock rails right here, these are also factory off the Recon. And I'll just point these out. They're a little shorter than most of the other rock rails on the Jeeps, like the Rubicon even. For sure, like the Sport, Willys, all those. The rock rail actually comes almost all the way back here. It's almost a full inch longer. And that does make a difference when we're doing 35s. We do need something a little shorter because once it starts to articulate, if it had the factory rock rail back here, the wheel or the tire is gonna catch it at some point and cause some damage there. So luckily on the Recon, I'd already had those. So I'm pretty happy about that. So I will show, it's hard to see because the sun's hiding a little bit, but it does have the inner fender in the rear. So this is most of the reason why I went with the Fishbones, because they sold the complete kit. And it is nice to have something in there to just finish it off. On the front, there's a lot of electronics, your starter. I mean, there's so many things right there to where it's really a necessity. And on the back, I wouldn't say it's a necessity, but man, it's a really nice upgrade. And if you're doing the fronts and had the ability to do the rears, I wouldn't think twice about it. If you're on a budget and really we're just trying to do it for the cheapest possible, you wouldn't have to do the rears, but for a couple $100, it's totally worth it. We'll move around here to the back. So we did do the Teraflex Hinge tire carrier on this one again. And like I mentioned before, I like this one because it actually replaces this whole system. So now this door is actually hanging on the hinge as opposed to this wheel and tire hanging on the door. So we're not gonna have to worry about this door having any cracks in the future, anything like that. I will mention, it's hard to say, it's got these plugs in here. It's got 3 or 4 of them going around it. If you wanted to, they sell all kinds of little attachments. This is where you could mount a spare tire, or like a high lift jack if you want an off-road jack, gas cans if you wanted to put a little bracket here to have additional reverse lights. These are built to add accessories, so really like that. And then we've also started to see some of the Jeep is now starting to offer heavy duty tire carriers on the Wranglers, and it's like a $900 option, I believe. And it's pretty much it functions exactly like this one does, as far as the hinges, the doors hanging on the hinge. I mean, everything about it's basically exactly like this. So it makes us feel really good about going with this Teraflex one for so long, because if Jeep thinks that that's the right way to go on the new ones, then this is definitely gonna be able to handle it. And then on the back here, I do like this tire carrier again, because we can, on some of them you can't put the cap back on the center of the wheel, so you just kind of have the exposed lug nuts. But having the third brake light back here, and it's hard to see, I'll hit the brakes, having it back there allows us to put the center cap back on, and it's just nice to have a center cap on. It's a finished look, and I'll hit the brake light for you. At night it really lights up nice, and especially with the gloss black wheels, it kind of lights up the whole wheel red. And again, is that something that you need for the trail? Absolutely not. But is it cool? Absolutely. So yeah, we're really excited about this Jeep. Oh, hold on, let's look at the grab handles. And like I mentioned before, it does have the red seat belt, the red stitching in the seats, which is really nice. And then since it already had that red in there, we went in and did these Steinhager grab handles. Steinhager is a company, they're out of Illinois, so really local to us. We actually have a few dealerships really near their factory where they make this stuff. But I really like these grab handles as opposed to some other ones, because if you can tell, they're like super sturdy. I mean, the Jeep moves, and these are, you know, they're just there, they're not going anywhere. So I just like that. It's good when you kind of put your hand on them and you feel it just feels sturdy. It's kind of what you want in a Jeep. So really like them, and these back ones look really cool, especially with either the doors off or with the windows down. You know, they definitely stand out. So really like that. And then yeah, this one is for sale at our Kunes Country of Elkhorn, a Chevy Buick GMC store. We are selling it just like this, brand new with warranty. You could lease it if you really wanted to. So any questions you have, please give us a call at our Elkhorn store. And yeah, if you have any comments, please let us know what you think. Have a great day, guys.